How does it feel to be back in that boiler suit?
Yeah, we'll change colour this year.
I know, why is that?
I don't know, I think somebody said it looked a bit sexier in blue. I don't know if I agree with that, to be honest. Just delighted to be back. I said last year it's one of the nicest jobs I've ever been on. Just a lovely crew, lovely cast, filming in Edinburgh. For my money, it's a little bit darker, a little bit more dangerous, which is always fun to be a part of as an actor, but no, just chuffed to be back.
It certainly finished on a bit of a cliffhanger in the final episode, didn't it? So where does that helicopter go?
Yeah, well, you need to watch and find out. You know, it's again, it's a pretty spectacular location. A few of us were rooting for the Bahamas, but it wasn't to be. But again, with all that, that's, you know, a credit to our fantastic production team, you know, in terms of designs and the sets and all these kind of stuff, and the Vis FX team. We can kind of sort of go anywhere in the world.
I would describe The Rig as an eco-thriller. It's a science fact rather than science fiction show. An oil rig crew come up against things that are beyond their experience. Last year was a bit of a rust bucket. It was a rig that was the end of its life, just off the in the North Sea. But our crew fly into this world and are kind of, even though they know about rigs, it's because of the high-tech nature of it, they are kind of fish out of water, catching up on what on earth is going on and what Pictor have been hiding from them and the rest of the world.
How do you go about designing a rig like this?
In terms of the design, the structures have to feel real, can do the job that they're designed for. And what I loved about season 1 was the scale, which was so good for our characters to roam around, and for me as a director to take the audience with them. This season, as I say, we're in this particular set, which I can't tell you what it is or where it is. We designed it in the round so that, again, there's lots of space for the characters to move around the props, for the cameras to follow them, and to speak to the subtext of the story, which is what music and camera moves can do within the dialogue of a scene. The camera can move and explore, as I say, the subtext and what the scene is also about.
Did you always have a vision of where you wanted the story to continue?
I did, although I had to keep it secret from a lot of people.
That must have been hard.
It was, but I always knew, particularly the location where I wanted to go for series 2, because in the first series we were only on the rig, the Bravo. One of the big things I wanted to do was to expand the world, so we go to various different locations, and I hope showing the audience parts of the world that they probably haven't seen very often before, and some stuff back in Scotland as well.
It's quite different for you, isn't it? You're not
Massively, and that's why I really want to do it. You know, when John Strickland, who I'd worked with in Line of Duty and in Plain Sight, had approached me about it, you know, it's something we both spoke about, is wanting to be on something with ambition. It is it's harder than you think, that sort of tennis ball acting, you know, when a tidal wave's coming at you and it's just somebody blowing a bit of air in your face and all that kind of thing, because you get a bit worried that when you get to see it a year down the line, you go, oh, that's what I was running from. The advancements in the technology that we've got this year, you know, we can practically see everything that's happening sort of in real time, you know, around us, to give you a real proper idea of where we're at. But I mean, I've loved being part of it.
Where did the inspiration for the rig come from initially?
It's really all my dad's fault, I think, on two fronts. In that one, he worked offshore all through his career, and he started off in the shipyard in Nig building oil rigs, and that's near where I grew up, so I could always see them. And he would come back and tell me stories about his adventures offshore. But then also, he's a big cinema fan, so he introduced me to people like John Carpenter and James Cameron and Ridley Scott. I always wanted to do a really big sci-fi action adventure, but rooted here in Scotland, and oil rig seemed like the perfect location.
Yeah, whenever you first got the scripts for this, what did you think?
Well, because when I've said this before, but when all John said to me when he came to me, he says, like, I'm doing this thing on the oil rig. It's a part I thought you'd be great for. I know your dad worked on an oil rig, so, and I just assumed it would be about hard drinking men. But yeah, when I read it, I just couldn't really believe what was going on, and it just sort of got stranger and bigger and more wild. So I think, again, we want to try and keep that element and keep it tight till people watch it. But I said David's done another fantastic job. I said, but in my money, it gets a bit darker, and there seems a sort of the team's in a bit more of sort of imminent danger.